I'll actually go a little bit further on that international basis. So
Yeah.
we talked about the fact that the majority of actually U.S. backed stable coins are issued by foreign entities, and then that there is like a different regulatory environment in other countries. I wanted to also bring up that a digital currency backed by a government has come out, right? Like there is a digital yuan among other kind of like national stable coins. What's your take on how the market will evolve in the absence of legislation? And like what are you seeing internationally that's
Yeah.
piqued your interest?
Yeah, I mean, the international dimension is really interesting because I think on one hand, U.S. regulators don't care about it, that space at all, right? I think that it's interesting. Sometimes you'll talk with companies or investors. They'll say, we just got to go in and tell the regulators that if we don't do this, China is going to do it. And regulators don't really care because that's not part of their mandate. Congress may care, right? Because Congress has an interest in ensuring the competitiveness of the United States. But unlike regulators in other jurisdictions, most U.S. regulators do not have a competitiveness mandate. And I think that's actually something I sort of recommended in my testimony in Congress, is that I think that's actually very important. And I think that's one sort of structural change that could change a lot, actually.
Important to add a
Before we
component.
add, yeah, add that as a part of the mandate. States often do have this type of a mandate, interestingly, and that's why you see sort of this competitiveness between states where they have a mandate for economic development, for job creation. And so states often take a more holistic view when they're regulating and they're balancing a broader set of actors, whereas federal regulators, the focus is typically on safety and soundness and stability, and making sure nothing bad happens. I would say I would sort of summarize it as that, like the focus on making sure nothing bad happens. It's not on making sure good things happen, right? To be clear, like they're not focused on making sure good things happen. It's preventing bad things from happening. But the international space is interesting. I sort of believe that there's sort of this 18 to 36 month window where for other jurisdictions to lay credible claim as being hubs for the digital asset space with robust regulatory frameworks. And so you sort of see this race underway now. You've got the EU that passed MiCA, and now they're going through sort of a consultative process, which is kind of remarkable, right? I mean, it's a sort of an American concept in some ways, but it's not something that regulators have done recently, like engage in public consultation on these topics. They're going through that process, and they'll be implemented at the state level. You've got the UAE, and a lot happening in the UAE, including in Dubai, which set up the first sort of dedicated regulator just for digital assets called FARA. And then you've got Hong Kong and Singapore, right? Very, very active, and others as well. But I think that is and the approach is just very anyway. It's just a different. You spend some time in some of these countries talking with people, and it's like you're on a different planet. I mean, I got back from France, met with French and European regulators there, met with local founders, local investors. And it is just such a different approach. Like I think their regulators in these markets are taking a very pragmatic, approach to regulating the space. So